Do you want to track your tasks in Excel and have it look like this, with the progress donut chart, overdue highlights, and automatic KPIs? In this video, I will show you step by step how to build your own Excel to-do list in less than 15 minutes. No advanced skills required. Let's start with a simple table. I will add those columns: number, task, status, priority, deadline, and notes. Then I will select everything and press Ctrl-T so that I'll convert it into an official Excel table. This makes formulas and formatting easier later. So I have my headers and I know that I want 100 rows for now. That's why I add 108 in the end, press OK. And then I see it's already formatted into a table, but we'll change it later. For the status column, I'll create a drop-down using 3 options: not started, in progress, and done. For the priority, I will add high, medium, and low. This way users can just pick values instead of typing. So now I can just go inside my status column and then press Ctrl-Shift and arrow down. And then go to data, data validation. And here I can choose a list. I can technically just type the values, comma separated inside this line, and it will work just fine. But I want to use those values later on, and also it is more useful like this if you want to change the values later and don't want to go inside here. So for me, I'll press this arrow and then select the 3 values and press OK. And now I can check. Yes, everything works correctly, and I can do the same for priority, so Ctrl-Shift arrow down, then data validation, then list, select 3 values. Okay, so for our next step, I will need some sample data so that we can see if our formulas work correctly. And I will also add some rows number. Then I can select all the columns and just double press. This way the rows will get a little bit bigger. So next step would be to add some conditional formatting. If a task is marked done, I want to strike it through and turn it gray. So for that, I select my whole table, pressing Ctrl-A, and then at home, I go to conditional formatting, new rule. I use a formula to determine which cell to format, and then I obviously only want the ones that are done. So the value in the column D, and we have to press $sign before that, should be equal to done. I can just select it here. And we format it with strike through. I want now gray font color, and I also want a gray fill color. So custom 2. Okay. So we can see that everything works fine. Our next step is if the deadline has already passed and the task isn't done, it turns red. So same thing, we select our deadline column, so Ctrl-Shift arrow down twice, so it selects the whole column, not only the one that's filled. At first, I want to change the format into a short date, and then I go to conditional formatting and add new rule. I use a formula to determine which cells to format. And me personally, I just want to double check something, so I go end, and I want that my task is not empty. Then I want that my deadline, so F9, is before today, right? So it's past. And then I obviously want that the task is not done. I don't really care for the deadlines that are passed for everything that I already finished, right? So for that, status is D9. It should not be equal to done. So this, and then I obviously need to add some red background. Custom. So next step is if the deadline is within the next 7 days, it turns yellow. So for that thing, we already have our column highlighted. So we add new rule, use a formula, And then we repeat the same thing, and so task is not empty, our status is not done. Again, you can just type it in. Then we want that our deadline is greater than today, but also that it is smaller than today plus 7 days, because we only want the next 7 days. You can also put 3 or 14, so whatever works better for you. And then I need my yellow background, so I go to formats, more colors, then custom, and then finally, the priority column gets color-coded, high in red, medium in yellow, and low in green. This way, you can see the most urgent tasks at a glance. So now we go inside this priority column, Control-Shift-Arrow down twice, and then I go into conditional formatting, new rule, use a formula. I just want E9 equals, and again, you can type everything in. I just use the values because I already have them, and I want a light green color. Oh, sorry, I want the red color because I just chose high. So I will use the same red. So now we can go inside our conditional formatting, manage rules, and I can just duplicate this. And in G4, I have my medium. So I can go in format, more colors, and then change it to yellow. And then duplicate it again, change it to G5, format, more colors, so we can see everything works just fine. Above the table, let's build a KPI block. So we already have not started, in progress, done. I will move them, so I will press Ctrl-X, Ctrl-V. You can just copy-paste them because it will ruin all the formulas. Yeah, I'll just think that it will look better if they're here. And we also want to obviously add the total. For not started, we will use the COUNTIF formula. So for that, we need the range where we will be counting. So for me, it's obviously the status. And I can just go like this again, or you can highlight it, or you can use the table like this, just type it. And then I want to use the corresponding value right here. So it's C3. And then I close the bracket, and I can extend the formula, right? So for the total, I can use obviously count A and count all non-empty tasks or statuses, or I can use the sum function, which will probably be easier. And this is then, because if I don't have a status, then I probably don't even need the information about this task in my totals, right? So we also want to add the overdue tasks count, percentage completed, and percentage left. So for percentage left, it's obviously quite easy. It's just 1 minus whatever is in this cell before. And then here, it is technically just done tasks divided by total tasks. But the problem is, if the table is empty, it will give you an error because we cannot divide by 0. That's why I will use if error function, and then done divided by total, comma 0. So I can also change the values to percentages if it's more useful to you. And then the overdue is a little bit more complicated. We will need to check a couple of things. So we will use COUNTIFS, things we need to check a couple of things. So the first criteria that we have to check is if our deadline is less than today, right? So comma, then smaller, and today. Then You can also obviously just type table 3, and then I want to check if the status, so I can just start typing status and then press tab, right? Then comma, and I do not want it to be equals done. So again, I will go not equals and then choose done, but you can once again just type it in. I just prefer to do it like that because then I can just change it once here and everything updates. So I can also, I also add task not empty, just to be sure you don't have to. So for me it's table task and then and this is it. So we have 7 overdue tasks, and we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so it makes sense. Now let's add a donut chart to show progress visually. I already have those 2 helper values, so I can just select them and then go to insert and some donut chart. So what I personally like to do is to delete the chart title. Technically you don't even need the values, right? We just have 2. I do not like the lines, so I will make no shape outline, but I will add shape effects. I like the shadow, but you can obviously use the glow, soft edges, whatever. I just like this one. And then I need to click on one of the parts of the donut, and I will make the done part deep green and the not done part the light green. So what else I like to do is just then choose the diagram itself. And for this, I want to have the shape outline. I choose this green version. And then I also add some weight into it. So maybe 1.5. And again, I add some shadows. So I just like shadows for kind of office look, but I like glow for dark mode templates. So this is it. This is now done. Now you can instantly see how much of your to-do list is finished. So to finish, we need to polish the layout. For that, I will press Ctrl A and make the whole background light green. Then I will select the table and make the rows white. I will make the header, again, this deep green or teal green, darker green. Then I select the whole table again, and I want to add the same color borders so it looks more cohesive. So here I can choose my color inside and heavier outline. Then I do basically the same for here, green and white. I also maybe want to do it like this. And here again, green, white. And then I select the whole thing and I go again to borders, more borders, do the same, inside small, heavier outline. And then if I select the same thing and then press Ctrl Y, it repeats itself here, right? So now I can maybe make this one color weights 1. So it kind of looks better, I feel like, if we have an overall background. Then maybe we don't want it to be this small, so we will go to home and then row height. Maybe let's make it 17 and change this to Calibri and maybe 12. Okay, so then we can obviously select this again, double click, and in general I feel like we can make notes a little bit bigger. So now I can either basically hide this and I can maybe move it here, right? Ctrl X and paste, hide the whole column. I can make the color of it light green, but I already have a graph, so I can just move it here. Make this bold and this bold. And that's it! Your Excel to-do list tracker is ready. It automatically tracks overdue tasks, calculates your progress, and shows it in dashboard view. If you'd rather download a ready-made version, I will link mine in the description. Otherwise, try building it yourself. You'll learn a lot along the way. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more tutorials like this one, and if you have ideas for my next tutorial, just leave them down below. Have a great day! Goodbye!